Welcome to More Than a Few Words, a marketing conversation for business owners. This is your host, Lorraine Ball. I have often been told that I have a strong personality, and it kind of came through in my business. But I never really thought about the fact that all businesses have personality. And that's what we're going to talk about today. My guest, Naomi Gora, is going to share with us her expertise on this subject. She identifies as a torchbearer business personality type. She spent years trying to find her place in the world of media and advertising agencies, often feeling like an outsider in the most extroverted world of sales and marketing. And it was only when she discovered her personality type and allowed herself to run her business her way based on her strengths and core values that her career really started to thrive. Naomi, welcome to the show.
Oh, hi, Lorraine. Thanks so much for having me.
It is my pleasure. I'm excited to dive into this topic of business personalities. And for people who are not familiar, give me an overview.
Oh, that's a great question. So, business personalities, it's something that I've not really heard of before. And what I've found over the years, and I found for myself as well, is when you get into business, if it's your first time in business, a lot of the things you start to learn dive straight into understanding your ideal clients and your competitors. And what I started seeing is people building businesses that match their ideal clients, and they said made them stand apart from their competitors, but they hated running them. so
Oh,
what I
that sounds horrible.
so what I found is people were forgetting the all important part of looking at themselves before they jump into satisfying their customers. Is this something that I can do all day, every day? Because so many people are just like, I need to get the customers. And you don't really think about how you're getting them or how you're servicing them. And then you get 1 or 2 years in and you're burnt out, or you're like, I just didn't know business was going to be this way. It's so horrible. I love what I do, but this business thing is terrible. So that's where I sort of started to think, well, how can we do it in a way that suits ourselves as well?
Okay, so you start with looking inward and figuring out what you are. I think you mentioned that you're a torchbearer business personality.
Yes.
Tell me about some of the different personalities so maybe my audience can figure out what sort of sounds like them.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have a quiz, but there's a lot of different ways you can figure out what your type is, and it comes down to personality type and values. I think my main philosophy in business is to have self-awareness, and personalities are an entry point into that. The more you start developing your self-awareness, the better that you will get. So the personality side of things, you can take the quiz. There's 16 personality types. So the torchbearer is a type that is probably the opposite of what you would expect in running a business. So so when I was trying to run my business a little while ago, and nothing seemed to work, and then I found my personality type, the torchbearer, and all of a sudden it became clear I was trying to run my business like a completely different personality type, the empire builder. So there are types like the empire builder and the station master, I name them. They are very adept at running businesses. It's like it comes second nature for them. They're really good at systems and structure. They're extroverted. They love contact with people. So this comes naturally to them. But if you are a more introverted type, or if you're not into systems and processes and having things locked in and batched, you can feel like your business puts a lot of pressure on you, and suddenly you're like, I don't like doing any of these things. So, but the empire builders and the station masters, for example, they're often very publicly seen in the business world. So it's also when you're building a business, a lot of the people you're looking up to and you're going, well, they were successful this way. I must have to do it that way. but it may not be your type. You may be someone that really likes to sit behind the scenes, or somebody that doesn't like your days really structured and organized, and you feel like your business is putting all this pressure on you because that's what these business personality types that are really obvious are doing. So you think you have to do the same thing, but it's not the case.
That's really interesting. When I was in corporate, we talked a lot about, Myers Briggs and some of these other personality rubrics, but really taking that and overlaying it on a business is so interesting because you're right. I can totally see where if you're in alignment, you're doing it the way it's natural for you, that's going to
Yes.
be easier. Um, so, how can you use your business personality type once you figure out who you are? You take the quiz, there'll be a link in the show notes to figure out who you are. How do you use that to grow your business?
You do things that feel more natural to you. There's so many clients that I've had that come to me saying, I don't think I'm cut out for business. I thought this was my thing. I'm not cut out for it. I'm I'm throwing in the towel. I'm done. And it's such a sad place for people to be because their gifts are so needed. And it's just that they don't understand how to do this business thing. So, for example, I have some clients that come to me saying, I hate social media. I never want to do social media again. Or, um, I'm putting myself out there all the time, but nobody's listening to me. I'm invisible. So there's so many different ways. It's clarifying your message, so getting your message really clear and being your authentic self. So you're attracting your ideal audience. And some people think that they have this dialed in, but they're really, I see so many people looking at their competitors. They think that they're dialed into being their authentic selves, but really they're like, oh, but that person's doing that and that person's doing that. And then they sort of become this mush of what's not really them because they think it's what they need to succeed. Instead of doing social media, go and be on some podcasts, or you'll write some articles. There's so many different ways based on your personality profile. And I've worked with so many business owners now that I've seen the patterns. So each personality type has different patterns of how their brand might show up and be magnetic. And then also the type of marketing strategies that they would best use, and even how they organize their days. So you can start to get all these business pieces that you weren't expecting to do when you started a business in line, so you're not grabbing at 20 million different things that you feel like aren't working.
Okay, so um, I maybe am a little off kilter, and that can be stressful for me.
Yeah, yeah.
And are there different ways that different personality types handle stress and then maybe come out the other side of it?
Yes. So this is something that we teach in Brand Whisperers. So there's a model that we use called the CAR model, and it's, imagine your brain is a four-person car. There is the driver, the co-pilot, and then in the back seat there's a little 10-year-old and a baby 3-year-old. And this is the way your brain works. So by using your personality type, what we help business owners understand is how that model of their brain works. And so if you're driving from the front seat of your car, that's the driver, which is your flow state, and your co-pilot, your navigator, which is your growth state. If you're operating your business from these two states based on your personality type, which we teach, this is what we call your genius state. And your business flows and everything's a bit easier. But if you're accidentally letting your 10-year-old or your 3-year-old in the back seat drive the car, you're going to be stressed out all the time. So each personality type has its own stressful thing. It's sort of like, the poison and the antidote of their business, I guess. So based on your personality type, there will be certain things that stress you out more than others. And what we do with business owners is help them not run their business from the back seat of their car, but get into those things that are in for their personality type in the front seat of their car. So they're in flow, in their genius state, and not stuck in this awful state in the back of their car. I can give you an example if you'd like.
That'd be great.
So, say for the torchbearer, my personality type, my 3-year-old is systems and processes and logistics. So, when I was running my business, I was trying to run it like an empire builder that was like, have 20 different services and all these complicated logistics. And I couldn't keep up. I was burnt out. I was so tired because I thought that's what it took to run a successful business. But it was my 3-year-old. I was always going to fail at it. So I was constantly stressed. So by making my business really simple, and
Mhm.
increasing my prices so I can work one on one intimately with people or with products. So I create the product and then I put it out and sell it. It simplifies the logistics and I'm no longer stressed. So instead of managing stress, we try to reduce the stress that's there in the first place.
That's a great strategy. And I think you really hit the nail on the head that there are things that make us feel like that 3-year-old when it's something we're not good at.
Yeah.
You retreat into that child state, and of course you can't run a business from
No,
that framework.
no, and then you tell yourself it's you and you're terrible and you're just terrible at business, which is not the case.
Awesome. Well, Naomi, this has been great. We're going to have a link in the show notes to brandwhisperers.com.au. And I think you told me that the quiz is right on your homepage. So
Yes, it is.
people can hop over and find out more about their personality. Thank you for being
Absolutely,
a part
yes.
of the show.
Oh, thanks, Lorraine. It's been such a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
I really enjoyed the conversation. And if you've enjoyed the conversation and would like to find other resources for your business, be sure to look for the Digital Toolbox Club. You'll find webinars and worksheets that can help you grow your business. Look for MTFW wherever you listen to podcasts. This has been another episode of More Than a Few Words. Thanks for listening.